Hello, YouTube! I am Penstar, and this is Transport Fever 2, Strategy and Tactics, Episode 9. So, we've advanced time just a little bit here. It is now December 15th, 1889, and there's a very specific reason why I have stopped the simulation on this date, or rather in this month. And that is, we are on the precipice of change. We are about to gain something wonderful. We are also about to lose something wonderful. And I want to act accordingly so that I do not miss out on the thing on which we are about to lose. What is it we're about to lose? Well, it's probably the one thing that's been the key to my success so far in this particular playthrough with these particular circumstances. And that is the Bavarian passenger car. Build date 1862 to 1890. It's going away next year. Folks, in 15 days, this will not be buyable. Now, that's not to say that, well, first off, our existing Bavarian passenger cars will not suddenly disappear. We get to keep what we already have, thankfully. But if we look at the next passenger car, which was introduced a little while ago, we've got the compartment car. A lovely little car, which is actually about, I'd say, 1/3 the size larger than the Bavarian car. It does have the upside of being able to go 60 kilometers an hour and sports a capacity of 11 people. Fantastic, right? Yeah, look at this upkeep cost, $63,822 a year compared to the Bavarian of $38. Yeah, that's a bit more expensive per passenger slot. It's not horrific, but honestly, our train network does not have the passenger volume to make the compartment car pay itself off yet. Once we start feeding our cities with cargo and they start ballooning in size, then we're going to need bigger and faster and more numerous trains with faster and larger capacity cars. And we can actually soak up the extra cost and not worry about it too much. But for now, all of my engines are, first off, there aren't any engines on the market right now that can make use of the 60 kilometer an hour limit. And that's the other reason. This one goes up to 50, which both the Borsig partially and the BR-53 Prusse can take use of, depending on the situation. So I want to get my last bits of purchases for the Bavarians onto my routes and onto my lines before they go away. So my choice is not forced to be the more expensive one. So let's analyze. First off, let's look at our budget. Our loan is down to 65. Let's bring it up. So we got 3.4 million to play with before the Bavarians go bye-bye. Now, the one thing I wanted to do, I was going to wait for a little bit of time for this, but the line seems to be maturing nicely. We've got Boydberg, we got this little route here, but I think what I'm going to do is I am going to actually splinter it into individual routes. We're going to have, we'll have the Shona Steam Wheel take care of Boydberg to Knowlchester only, and then we'll have a separate train take care of JC City to Boydberg, and then we'll have a brand new train take care of this line, Melanopolis to JC City. Is this the one right here? Yes, it is. So you, my friend, let's split the route, shall we? Because we might as well just move the trains down the line. So Boydberg to Knowlchester. Oops. Alright, Boydberg to Knowlchester. And the Shona Steam Wheeler will be put on that line. Boop. Next up, we've got you. Let's make a new line for this. JC City to Boydberg. Like so. And you, my friend, will get moved over. JC City to Boydberg. Ah, shoot it. Wiped out his passengers. I should have let him pull into the station. Oh well. But now the triple one can get deleted. Boop, like that. And now, for our line down here, since our depot is down here, we'll get a new car. Do I want to go with the Borsig or do I want to go with the Prusse? I mean, there hasn't been a lot of traffic this way, so I might actually pick up the Borsig. I can always upgrade it. But yeah, we want these Bavarians. We'll go for the 48 capacity. That seems sensible to me. And this is going to be Melanopolis to JC City. Perfect. Alright, so that's that sorted. But we have a few other routes. Now that we know that we can add cars onto trains in the wild here, I think it's time that we revisit some of our older routes that might have grown in capacity, or rather demand. So I know Mount Aurelius tends to fill up pretty well. I mean, because there's the train's all the way at the opposite end of the line here, and yet there's already 43 people waiting for it. So that might be a reason for upgrading here. So the Fugazi Foothiller. We also might want to swap out the engine for a bigger one here. So let's see what the economics of this do. Now these are 200, and what would it cost us to put in the Prusse and maybe add a Bavarian passenger car here? Come on, autosave, thank you. 906. It's not too bad. We could, well, that actually between the two of them, that should do it nicely. And you know, Mount Aurelius is a hillier one, so the more powerful engine will probably earn its keep. So yeah, let's do that. Boop. All right, now if we look over here to yeah, the Air Team Mountain Climber, you're just leaving the station with a full load. And yet there are 42 people waiting. So this one is a little bit undercard and in need of more Bavarians. I don't want to go too crazy because these things do cost upkeep. 80 capacity, I think that might be a smart amount there. And now I think we have enough money for one more Bavarian somewhere. So what might need to... I know we can't fit more here. Who has a lot of people here? Melania, yeah. You're not even a full load. You do not need a new car. The Jetstream Streamliner. Are you just leaving the station? How many people left behind? See, it's perfectly sized. The fact that it's just leaving, it's full, but there's only 3 people left, it is exactly the size it needs to be. Okay. I do want to put it on somewhere, and I don't think these are all 48s. Like these little mini trains are all 48s. I mean, maybe I could stick it onto the brand new train, and then I could transfer it off. How many people want to go to? Yeah, see, it's not even going to be that much, so that'd be a bit of a waste. 58 Washington to Melanopolis. All right, you know what? I think the Air Team Mountain Climber might actually benefit from having this last Bavarian on it. Either that or the Mount Aurelius route. But no, this one's longer. I think this one will benefit from it. And it's got the more powerful engine anyway, so it can handle it. Alright, so that is that. And now that we've spent all of our money, but to the ends of making our rail empire more profitable all around. Oh yeah, that reminds me, before we go into the negatives, now that we've set up a shared route here, we need to put signals on the other side of this place, just so that they play nice. That's more like it. So now they'll share that shared signal there, and obviously we don't need to worry about the rest. Okay. Now, if we wait a few days... Beep, beep. Look what just showed up. So I mentioned this whole thing's been about the Bavarian passenger car, which we're about to lose. But what did we just gain? I'll show you what we just gained, boys and girls. This thing, the PLM 220. This thing can actually go 60. It can actually put the compartment car to proper use. Now, this thing also costs us $271 a year and costs us $1.6 million. So this is not a cheap engine by any measure. Not to mention, these things are not cheap at all. In order for a line that has this and this on it to actually have any kind of a hope of running a profit, it's got to have a lot of volume. Guess what that line, I think, enables us to do? Mimicon. The final frontier. The final city that needs to be hooked up to our network. Mimicon is the second largest, well, it was the second largest city in the network, in the district, in the region, if you will. Yeah, it's out in the boonies. There is nobody near it. It needs a long haul road, and with some of the smaller engines out there, I can tell you right now, the trip would be so long that people wouldn't show up. It would barely have any reach into our network. Ergo, nobody would show up for the trip. Ergo, the route would be massively unprofitable. But now that technology has marched ahead a bit, now Mimicon, I think, is in our reach. With a straight shot to Mimicon, I think we're in a good place. And I want to actually plug it into Melanopolis. I know Mount Aurelius is probably a bit closer, but one, Melanopolis is a hub for so many other routes, and two, Mount Aurelius is smaller. So yes, while it's farther, I think we can get away with it. I think. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do some serious saving here. One of the reasons I sort of topped off my lines here is that I want to actually pay off my loan, all of it, all $10 million. I want to pay it off. That's not to say that we are eschewing loans, but I see this as a $10 million project for both the lines, the train, and the passenger cars, all said and done, and I want to make sure I've got a good, solid financial foundation on me before we venture forth into this abyss. Because this is probably the longest and riskiest route of our entire venture here. It could, as we're about to unlock the passenger-only restriction, drown us if this route goes sour and just becomes a money pit. Because the rest of the network might not be able to keep up with it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a nice big time lapse here. Obviously you guys don't want to just sit here and wait for me to pay off loans. I'll catch you guys on a very big flip side. Okay, we're not quite done yet. It is now 1892. We're back down to 6.5 million in loans. However, I did think of something I did want to do before we started on our project, and that is get Mimicon primed. That is, get it hooked up for trams and trains and what have you. Oh, not the trains yet. We're saving up for the trains, but I want to get it interconnected for trams at the very least. Now this one's kind of spread out here, but I think we can handle it just fine. Now, if we look at our land use layer here, we got a nice patch of very concentrated commercial and industrial zones. So this is absolutely where we want all of our stuff to avoid any noise penalties. Now, granted, this is the side of Mimicon that faces Melanopolis, so we're gonna, have to skirt around a little bit. But since you get paid by the location of the station, not necessarily the location of the city proper, it might just make us a little bit more money on the whole deal. Now, I do think we may need to do a little smushing here just for efficiency. So let's bust out our tram station, and yeah, we're gonna go 2 and 2 and electric right off the bat. No, not 2 and 2 wide, 20 meters long, please. Because what I want to do is I want to try to encapsulate all of the industrial and commercials in one tram stop. If we do something like this, I mean, this is going to be expensive, but you know, this might pay off in the long run. Look at that. Hang on. So that gets all of that except for that one building down there. Now, if we do something like this, if we do something like on the edge here and then just squishes a few things, we could probably get away with squishing just one thing. All right, yeah, we have to go all the way down here to avoid that, and then we lose out on this whole deal here. So I think that one building up there is gonna have to be done with. Is gonna have to do without us. Yeah, because this gets almost everything except for like a little tiny patch in the middle. But I think that we'll catch that with one of the residential lines. Yeah, I think that is the correct answer. So I'm going to borrow some. Yeah, I know we're trying to pay off the whole loan, but I want to set this up because, I mean, if we set this up right, it will be another source of revenue for us. And yeah, two squishes is not the worst thing in the world. Hang on, I'm just checking my alternatives. What would happen if I put you here? We miss out on too much up there. I don't want to leave that many on the table. There's gonna be some squishing. No getting around that. If we go here, we actually get a lot more, and we can get away with just 4 squished buildings. Now we're gonna have to put the train station like right here if we are to avoid additional squishing. But that might not be a bad idea. It'll help the Ooh, we can get away with only 3 squishings here? Sold. Effing sold. Okay, now let's determine stop placement here. Now, this down here begs to be hooked up, so I think I will not begrudge the expense of hooking it up. Obviously not wanting to do any smushing. Because I think what we could probably do is sneak into the back, because this is like the super dense residential areas, and they'll probably be the most to complain. But if we don't travel by them, then that might be a good thing. We take sort of the back roads here to avoid downtown and the requisite noise. So this basically catches everything except this little thing. Catches everything here. So we probably need 1 stop for the residentials here and 1 stop for these residentials, given their location. But I think we can catch the whole town in just 2. So if we go here, that should be actually. Can we? I don't think I don't want to try to get the whole town in 1. As much as well. Can we get the whole town in 1? No, that's too far apart. And it's going to grow. As we hook up Mimicon, it's going to grow. So we're going to want to sort of be in our own little niches here. I do want to put you down. Actually, since that's a crosswalk right there, that way, if we put it here, we get an instant turnaround. Oops. Silly me. I have to place the trams first. So let's draw the tram tracks out. Catenary, yes. Yeah, I mean, it draws it the whole way, but... And I mean, if it's gonna go all the way down, I'm gonna want it to go all the way down. I'd rather it not go all the way down, though. Yeah, see, there's the little thing right there. So I think if we put it just halfway down, we'll get the best of both worlds. Now up here, this thing covers, yeah, these. So we're just going to want one solid stop up here. And again, we could go around back and like put it right here. I think that might be a smart move. You know, just try to keep the noise down, because this is a big town. This will grow largely, and any kind of noise penalties will cause things to get angry, to say the least. So we will build a nice little road here. And then just down to here, and we avoid actually driving near any of the large residentials while still covering them for the purposes of passengers. Yeah, we'll put you on that side. Boom. Beautiful. Now for a tram stop. What's a good place for a tram stop? Probably like way the heck over here, because I don't want these industrials growing any further. Although, hang on, does this? No, it doesn't. It's not quite enough to catch these industrials. So yeah, I don't want the industrials over here getting too cute when the town grows. So I will put you here. All right, let's get you hooked up. You to you. Mimicon R1 local, since both of these are residential lines. And then you and you. Mimicon R2 local. And I'm just going to buy one tram for each. One Stadtbahnhall. And we will we'll put the maintenance on these guys. Tram 10 goes to Mimicon R1, R2, and those should actually stay busy and decently profitable enough just with the local traffic. Now, one thing I do want to see is I want to see if my theory about the UE right here holds weight. I also want to see what the town does with a little growth here. Because, yeah, we are going to basically probably get them another 20% just hooking itself up. Because there's 264 residents and 264 destinations here. So we absolutely want to get that bonus here. Now, these are imperfect routes, but these are higher capacity trams. So I think it might be worth it for these roundabout routes, again, to avoid exposing the residentials here in the middle. Turn around. Yes, we get the instant UE. Despite the fact that the tram lines go down there, we get the instant UE. That's fantastic. That is so efficient. Oh, speaking of fantastic and so efficient, we just got a more efficient route tram line here, courtesy of Mimicon itself. All right, Mimicon, I'll bite. The route will adjust itself. But yeah, you want to give me that freebie? I'll take that freebie. Also, I'll take this loan repay while we're at it. The other reason is I want Mimicon's growth to, well, are you giving me more shortcuts? 'Cause I'll take that beast. Man, Mimicon, you are generous. He's like, hey, Pinstar, that route's kind of dumb. Let us give you a better one. Okay. Because this still doesn't go too close to the high density ones. I don't know if that's going to... Well, let's see how it decides to route itself. Yeah, I'm not taking that shortcut. But I mean, yeah, when you have a large town like this grow, it grows significantly, even for just 10%. So certainly worth it. All right, let's see the new route we got here. I was about to say, like I thought I saw a horse. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're going around like this. Oh, fair enough. Prevents you from having to do a Yui anyway. Alright, fine. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Oop, and I'll take a loan repay while I'm at it. Alright, back to fast forwarding and paying back loans. We crested $2 million in profits up here. Well, not minus the purchases, but $2 million bucks in 1892. Not too shabby. And here we are. The loan is no more. It is 1896. So 6 years after I declared it was time to pay that off, we have arrived. Granted, I did spend a little extra on the way to get Mimicon ready for our arrival. And Mimicon has fully developed from what we've given it. And I'm glad, because now we have this infrastructure in place, and thus we don't have to use any of our $10 million budget to building the local trams. And it's already done. It's already found itself. It's already found its own internal destinations and gotten itself its 20% bonus and grown from it. So it is a juicier target and a more prime candidate for hooking up and benefiting more immediately with our own network here. So now begins the task of hooking this beast up in our next episode. So if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya! Wonder if that's the engine Percy's modeled off after. Upgrade seems to be doing well for the Fujezi Foothiller. It seems to be liking the speed pretty well and still full. These are certainly some foothills. Taking up the track.